My friend Jack Bunce and I operate and charter a jet that we own that is based full-time out of Friedman. And so based on that and my friendship with Charles, I was asked to attend today and to provide something of a viewpoint from maybe a little bit of the larger end of the general aviation community. Yeah, and I would say that part of the community is often pretty quietly represented. People who operate aircraft in and out of Friedman, particularly turboprops and jets, aren't generally sending letters to or writing op-ed pieces in the Express. In fact, I think what draws a lot of otherwise affluent people to the Valley is the ability to live here pretty anonymously. And that's not the case in lots of other resort communities. And so, I believe that the general aviation interests, particularly involving larger aircraft, are really important to having a properly functioning airport and to the Valley economy as a whole. What you worry about is without an airport that works well for general and corporate aviation, you worry that a lot of disposable income and spending power would likely end up leaving this valley. For people who aren't residents here full-time and who are coming in and out for long weekends or holidays and that kind of stuff, having an airport that works well is really key, because what you're really worried about in those circumstances is what your true door-to-door commute time is. And the longer that it is, the less likely that you're going to pick this as a place where you want to have a second house or what have you. A further guess of mine is that a significant portion of our economy, whether it's for new home or condominium construction, whether it's for retail sales or sports and kind of hospitality spending, a large portion of that is heavily supported by resident and second homeowners who are involved in general aviation in one way or another through airplane ownership or fractional programs or as charter customers. And if you really look at the attractiveness of Sun Valley for people who live in San Francisco or Los Angeles is not such a great, because you still have direct service there, but you don't have direct service any longer from the Bay Area. And any place where you've got to come, you've got to fly into Salt Lake, do the transfer, do the waiting, worry about getting in, that really at the margin discourages people from coming here. So, to the extent that you have people who can get here directly and then find when they get here directly that there's not the mad crush that there is at other places like Vail or Aspen and stuff, that becomes pretty attractive. And again, I think, Charles, you and I were going to the same place, because I called and chatted with Rick this morning, because I looked at the recent Friedman Airport operating statements and looked that, basically general aviation provides, as Rick was saying, a third to a half of the normal operating revenues of the airport, through landing fees, through tie-down fees, fuel flowage fees, and particularly tenant land leases for hangars and things. And then, as Rick was saying, there's some associated rental car stuff, et cetera. And my guess is that the preponderance of those revenues are coming from turboprop and jet operators. So in my opinion, the general aviation interests, and particularly in those involving the operation of larger aircraft, have been pretty much underrepresented in the planning process. Maybe it's because people just kind of are trying to opt out a little bit, but I think with everything that's going on, what we don't want to end up with is an airport that doesn't work for privately owned aircraft, because you end up maybe throwing a very expensive party that no one wants to attend.